We're stepping into the Shaolin Temple, a place known for its deep peace. But there's a paradox.
How can a path of total peace create the world's most disciplined warrior? That's the big question.
To really get this, we have to start with their core beliefs.
At its heart is Chan Buddhism, which is the ancient ancestor of what we now call Zen.
It's not about some reward later. It's all about mastering this very moment.
So what gets in the way? Turns out it's one big thing we all deal with.
It's that non-stop chatter in your head, the voice that completely wrecks your focus.
So the Shaolin path is about moving from that chaos on the left to the focus on the right.
But their way of quieting this inner noise, well, it's pretty revolutionary.
Because for them, Kung Fu isn't actually about fighting someone else. It's got a much deeper purpose.
Think of it as a prayer, but one that's spoken through muscle and bone.
And it's all about creating this perfect internal connection, mind, body, and spirit as one.
So, if you're not fighting an opponent, who's the real enemy? It's closer than you think.
That's right. The ultimate enemy is yourself. The battle is always fought inside.
This is about conquering all those parts of yourself, the lazy part, the fearful part, the ego.
So when you see them breaking stone slabs, that's not really the point. The real goal is to break the concept of impossible inside your own head.
So the temple is less like a barracks and more like a psychological lab.
That fist is the physical result of total, absolute mental focus.
This comparison makes it super clear. One's goal is defeating others, the other's is conquering the self.
So before a monk is a warrior, he's a psychologist, and his lifelong experiment is on himself.
Ever wonder how a Shaolin monk can take a spear to the throat? Well, the secret isn't just physical.
The answer is a training routine that's basically a form of mental alchemy.
It's a full-on war against the body's natural limits and its survival instincts. It literally transforms a soft body into a weapon. So how do they even begin?
You know, it doesn't start with fighting. It starts with simple but incredibly painful tasks.
Things like holding the Ma-Bu horse stance for hours. These are designed to test the will.
At that point, the chattering mind just stops. All that's left is the raw, burning moment.
And this is where it gets really interesting. It leads to systematically getting desensitized to pain.
Think about striking your hands into sand over and over. They're hardening more than just skin.
What they're really doing is rewiring their brains to see pain signals completely differently.
Those screaming nerve endings, they're not a signal to stop. They're just data.
And this brings us to the absolute core psychological breakthrough of their whole training.
See, they learn to split two things we usually lump together: pain and suffering.
The pain is real, no doubt, but they learn that the suffering part, that's actually optional.
So, the alchemical secret? It's all about mastering the mind's reaction to pain.
It's a process of turning human weakness into the gold of an unbreakable will.
The body isn't some temple you protect. Nope, it's a forge, and the spirit is the steel.
Think about a Shaolin warrior in a fight, pure fluid grace, but also totally lethal.
So how can anyone pull off that kind of instinctual lightning-fast precision?
Well, the secret is this profound mental state called mushin, which basically means no mind. It's a mind that's completely free from the usual stuff: thought, fear, even ego.
Now this isn't a dull mind. It's actually a perfected one, like a perfect mirror.
Okay, so how does getting rid of thought actually make someone faster? You see, for most of us, a process called the OODA loop slows us way down.
Our brain has to process everything, weigh the options, and by then, it's too late.
But mushin, it just short-circuits that whole process. Reaction becomes instant.
In mushin, there's no decision, no hesitation, just a pure, instantaneous response.
And this is where it gets really cool. This focus channels all the body's energy.
The famous one-inch punch is a perfect example of this whole idea in action.
And this really shows it's not about big muscles, it's about pure, focused intent.
The mind just links up the whole body into one chain to deliver some serious force.
It's the same idea behind other crazy feats like, breaking solid stone.
See, it's not really the hand breaking the stone, it's the mind.
The person in mushin isn't just a fighter anymore. They're like a force of nature.
And you might be surprised, it's not some rival warlord or fighter. Nope, the real battle, the one that truly matters, is fought right inside their own head. This is an all-out war against what Buddhist philosophy calls the three poisons.
So how do they fight them? Well, it all starts with the first one: greed.
You know that feeling? That constant itch for more stuff? For more everything?
Their counterattack? It's radical simplicity. They basically starve that inner demon. They just let go of stuff. And in that simplicity, they find real freedom.
When you own nothing, you learn your worth comes from inside. That's a game changer.
All right, next up is the second poison, and this one's a fiery one: anger. They're taught that anger is like a fire, and it only burns the person holding it.
So in a fight, they're not a wild berserker. They're a calm, focused surgeon.
The goal isn't to bury anger, but to understand it, and then just let it go. They learn to just watch the emotion until it has absolutely no power over them. But the final war, that's against the biggest poison of all.
Now, this isn't about being uneducated. It's a fundamental delusion about who we are.
Literally everything they do, kung fu, meditation, all of it is designed to shatter this idea.
The final breakthrough is what they call ego death. It's a total perspective shift.
I mean, think about it. Our biggest fears, they all come from protecting our ego.
So, if there's no self to protect, what's left to be afraid of? Nothing!
And that right there, that's the real source of a Shaolin monk's incredible power.
See, true mastery isn't about beating other people. It's about conquering yourself.
For 1,500 years, the Shaolin Temple has been destroyed and reborn time and time again.
But its greatest challenge today, it isn't armies or emperors. It's something else entirely.
Yeah, the biggest threat has been the modern world itself. Fame, money, performance.
So the Shaolin monk of today is kind of walking a tightrope between two different realities.
On one side, they're the keeper of an ancient discipline. On the other, a global icon. And that creates this huge new pressure, the constant pressure to perform for an audience.
Which leads to the big question. Is the goal enlightenment or just a perfect performance?
And this tension, well, it creates a really profound risk.
It's something called spiritual forgetting, basically losing the why behind the practice.
When the true goal is mushin, or no mind, a state of just pure, effortless focus.
It all reminds us that the toughest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves.
But you know what? These ancient ideas might be more important for us today than ever.
I mean, think about our world. Constant distractions, digital noise. The Shaolin path is a radical alternative.
Their discipline teaches a totally different kind of power. It's about letting go.
This whole dilemma is really a powerful reminder of where true victory is found.
So you have to ask yourself, in your world, what is the battle worth fighting?